60% of men are remarried within 2 years of losing a spouse versus only 20% for women. Does your estate plan take this into account? People assume that estate planning is set it and forget it. Well, remarriage and retirement is one of those things that blows that assumption up. This is one of the most common and most avoidable ways that a family inheritance ends up in the wrong place. Hi, I'm Scott Hamilton, certified financial planner, fee-only fiduciaries. We have offices in Austin and Houston, and we help people plan for retirement. So estate planning is complicated, right? Just to begin with. And then let's throw in that there's a gender gap and why that matters. Well, the little details first. Turns out that men remarry dramatically faster after losing a spouse. So within 2 years of becoming a widowhood, 60% of men have remarried, and versus only 20% of the females. And also by age 65, 50% of previously married adults have remarried. So what we're seeing is that this is a very common thing, and furthermore, it's way more common for men. In fact, the surviving spouse is statistically more likely to be the husband and to be remarried and relatively quickly. All right, so what's the problem with this? Well, most couples start their marriage with an I love you will. That means everything goes to the surviving spouse. Makes total sense, fine. But if that spouse remarries, and the inheritance now legally can go to the spouse, the other family, and it kind of loses the original intent. Without specific directives, the first spouse life savings can pass to the second spouse's family instead of the original children. So blended families are now just such a large component of the U.S. family household. This scenario plays out constantly across the U.S. And you know what? Most families never see this coming. The first spouse to pass usually trusts their partner completely. The idea of having what if you remarry conversation just doesn't really come up. And families rarely ask the hard questions while everybody's still healthy. And by the time it becomes apparent that they need to, it's usually too late. So even in strong, loving families, the children often start asking these questions to themselves whenever the first parent starts redating again. So it happens all the time. However, there's a counterpart to this. So the counterpoint is companionships and partnerships in the later years of life are very important. As you age, we all need that. The problem isn't remarriage. The problem is that the estate plan was never updated to handle that possibility. So what can you do to protect yourself and protect the family and the original intent? So maybe there's a spouse and a family and you wanted to go to those kids, and somebody passes, it comes to the new family unit, and it kind of gets messy at that point. Well, after the first passing, maybe you can set up one of three things: a Q-tip trust, qualified, terminal interest, property trust, right? Q-tip. And what that means is all the income from that asset goes to the original spouse, the surviving spouse, for life, right? And then the principal can be dedicated to go to the offspring, to the kids of the first marriage. So it protects the original intent from the original marital unit. The second option, number two, is a prenuptial agreement. Very common strategy that people implement regularly. But you can carve out assets to go to this, that, and the other person. It's a great way. So Q-tip trust, prenuptial agreements, and also the number three is to make sure you update the beneficiary agreements, insurance, trusts, brokerage accounts, retirement accounts. Make sure the bennies are updated so the way that you want them for the new family unit. And so tying it all together, this is not about distrust. This is simply about taking the time to make plans to ensure that even though you're in a loving marriage up front, things do happen, right? So set up make sure you go through the proper steps, the trust, the prenuptials, and the update the beneficiaries. And that's the best thing you can do to ensure that your assets go to the proper family that, the original family unit intended. So thank you for taking the time to watch. Please visit Hamilton Financial Planning. Visit our website. Click Get Acquainted now and schedule us a quick meeting. It can be 15 minutes over the phone. We can chat about your estate plans, any questions you have about Q-tip trusts or anything like that. Thank you for your time to watch. Appreciate it. Thanks. Bye-bye.